So feel free to ask any question in between. You can raise your hand, then we can have discussion as well. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauram Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are starting the work called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. How important is this work? Before we start studying this, we should know. So let me open Vedabase for that. So this is, I have searched the name Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in the entire Vedabase. Vedabase is mainly containing Prabhupada's books. If you look at it, Prabhupada's, this is transcript, it is showing in Prabhupada's speech. And, he had morning walks, lectures, and everything. There is this quoted 6,000 times. Then in Prabhupada's books, he has written Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, main books, and other books also, quoted 3,000 plus times. And in his personal letters, when he was writing to his disciples, he has quoted 265 times. So this work becomes very, very important from the sheer amount of references made to this work. And you would also see that Bhagavad Gita he quotes around 100 times. When it goes to Bhagavatam, it becomes 10 times, tenfold he has quoted. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita even further. So you can see that the importance of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu started with the Bhagavad Gita, then more quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam, then even further quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a manual for any practitioner to understand it thoroughly, to practice bhakti in a correct way. So when bhakti is practiced in a right way, then it increases, it speeds up our process, it speeds up our realization. So we'll look at into detail what exactly this title mean, Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. It has 4 words, Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. Let me open. Yeah, it has 4 words. So what are all these 4 words? What each mean? We'll look into it today. But before that, this work was written by Rupa Goswami. So who is Rupa Goswami? Let me open again Vedabase. This is, if you go into Bhagavad Gita and the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, which was written by Srila Prabhupada, in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, he gives at the end a Guru Parampara list, starting with Krishna all the way to Prabhupada, how this knowledge is coming. Okay? So if you look into it, here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the entire parampara was Brahma Sampradaya, starting from Lord Brahma himself, coming all the way to Madhvacharya, and then coming to Ishwarapuri. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started it, when he took initiation from Ishwarapuri, when he started it, it became a Gaudiya Sampradaya. So we belong to Gaudiya Sampradaya. So this has a lot of differences with the Brahma Sampradaya, that Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, that previously, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what was going on. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Krishna himself, introduced almost a separate Sampradaya. You can say it's a shoot off from Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. This Gaudiya Sampradaya has its own philosophy, has its own deity to worship, has its own goal to attain. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to spread this knowledge, he did not personally write any books. He taught all these things to his disciples, you can say, Shiksha disciples. And Sri Rupa Goswami is one of the main Shiksha disciple. Therefore, next to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see this Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada, when he writes in Nectar of Instruction, which is a translation, a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in English, in the introduction, he actually writes, we are all called Rupanugas. Rupanuga means we are followers of Rupa Goswami because he is the founder of this sampradaya almost. Since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not write any works, it was Rupa Goswami who wrote majority of the work for this sampradaya. The work establishes the philosophy for the entire sampradaya to follow. And philosophy was extended by Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and Jiva Goswami. Mainly Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami. These two are the main important people. And within that, Rupa Goswami's work is what we are going to study. So now that we know about Rupa Goswami, another thing we should know is why should we study, right? We are chanting, we are hearing, we are doing other services. Why should we take effort to study this work or any bhakti scriptures? Bhakti is in general, it's easier to perform compared to other processes. We know Krishna, we know who we are servants of Krishna, and we need to perform bhakti to him. It's a very simple understanding. But bhakti has lot of subtleties, lot of shades to it. That understanding these shades, understanding these subtleties takes effort. And these subtleties and shades are described in the Shastras. And why we need to learn these subtleties and shades? When we understand these subtleties and shades, then our mood and our consciousness and our process becomes clear. And when it is clarified, when we have the right mood, with the right understanding, with the right method of executing the devotional service, then it becomes faster. The goal, we see the faster improvement. Sometimes we see that, I'm chanting for so many years. Still, I feel like whenever I pick up the chanting bag in the morning, I just dread about it, and I just take it, and then I'm just to think about something. My office work is going on. I want to just simply keep on moving my beat. These things are happening because years and years you may chant, but this thing, the taste is not coming because right understanding may be missing in life. That is one of the main reasons. When we study Shastra properly, the right understanding and right essence comes out of it, then the progress will go much faster than what we were trying to do earlier. So then it becomes very important to understand the shades of bhakti. Therefore, one needs to learn Shastras properly. And especially main Shastras we have is Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. These four works one should have a good grasp on it. Then one will perform bhakti very nicely. And the other reason you should also learn Shastra is in the Shastras, the Leelas of the Lords are given, the pastimes of the Lord. So when we read those pastimes, we develop attachment for Krishna. Without reading the pastimes of Krishna, we will not develop attachment to him. We may have some vague understanding of who is Krishna. That's it. There is no taste going to come out of that. So we need to regularly read the pastimes of Krishna to develop that taste toward him. But to reading that, while we are reading the pastime, we should also understand the philosophy, the technicalities behind it, so that when we are reading the pastime, we are reading with a right understanding that develops, that improves our bhakti process. From whom you should learn? Ideally, you should learn from a person which is described here in Nectar of Instruction. Text 1. We will recite this verse. वाचो वेगम मनसः क्रोध वेगम जिवा वेगम उदर उपस्थ वेगम एतान वेगान यो विषहेत धीर सर्वामपि माम पृथिवीं सशिष्यात्. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So if you look at it literally, it says that person who can instruct the whole world. Saha Shishyat means he can instruct. Prithivim, the whole world. Sarvam apimam, the entire whole world he can instruct. Which person? Vachovegam. He should have controlled his speech. What does mean control of speech? He will only speak about Krishna. He will not speak about anything else. That person is said to be a person who has controlled Vachavegam. Manasaha Krodhavegam. He should have control over his mind and he should have control over his anger. Jiva Vegam. He should have control over his tongue. Manasa Vegam means he only thinks about Krishna all the time. Krodha Vegam. He should not exhibit anger other than Krishna's service. Jiva Vegam. He should control tongue. He should not eat anything other than food offered to Krishna. Udara and Upastha Vegam. The belly and the genitals are also controlled. One who has controlled all these things is called a dhira, a sober person. Ideally, one should find such a guru and learn the shastras from them. But what happens in this world is such a guru is a little bit difficult to find. First, number one. Number two, accessibility becomes a problem, especially in ISKCON. We see that, when we have very nice Guru Janas, we say that 60,000 disciples or 10,000 disciples. Accessibility becomes a problem. How can Guru extend his accessibility to everyone? How can then he teach personally and how can he resolve the doubts of the teaching personally? It is not possible for one who has a lot of audience. Therefore, other people take up some similar roles under the shelter of that guru. For example, in this case, when I'm teaching, most of the time I'm acting like a postman. Whatever I have learned from my guru, I take it and then I give that post. Nothing is from my own side, but whatever I have learned from my guru, I'm just acting as a postman and then transferring that. But ideally, one should find such a guru and learn. But if that guru's availability, accessibility is not there, then you can learn from other people as well, provided the person is also learned in shastras and he has connection with such a guru. Then he can act as a postman. When he acts as a postman, there is also a problem because whatever his intelligence is allows to absorb that knowledge, that much only you will get. But there is something is better than nothing. So this is the way to learn Shastra. Find a person who is a dhira and learn from him. Or if you are not able to find or access such a person, then you should learn from some disciple who has learned from such a guru, and you can learn from that person as well who has learned Shastras as well. Okay, now let's enter into the session itself. So the work has four words: Bhakti, Rasa, Amrita, Sindhu. Bhakti. What is Bhakti? In a simple word, it is called devotion. So feel free to raise your hand anytime and then stop, and then I can answer questions if you have any questions. So Bhakti. There's a lot of things going on in this slide. Um, but this is required for us to even start this work. In your left hand side, if you look at it, there is this big circle you see that is Bhagavan, that is God. And then in your right hand side, you can see that it is Maya Shakti. In between, there is Jiva Shakti, that is we. Jivas are we, individual soul. And how many jivas are there? There are infinite jivas are there. So many living entities are there. If you go outside, take a sand in your hand, you will see that infinite amount of bacteria are available. So let me, yes, okay, thank you. So infinite amount of jivas are there, even in a handful of sand. What to speak of the entire world? What to speak of the entire universe? What to speak of multiple universes? There are so many jivas, living entities are there. The living entity situated in between Bhagavan and Maya Shakti. It has two options. One is it can take shelter of Maya Shakti or it can take shelter of Bhagavan. That's all. Or it can just exist as it is. Most of the jivas are there have taken shelter of Bhagavan. Some of the Jivas have taken shelter of Maya Shakti. So we belong to this category. Jivas taken shelter of Maya Shakti. Our body is made of Maya Shakti. Our mind is made of Maya Shakti. Our intelligence is made of Maya Shakti. So we as Atma have taken shelter of this Maya Shakti. Now from here we are trying to take shelter of Bhagavan. Now who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is a combination of Shakti and Shaktiman. You see the small circles around it? So these are Shaktis. He has so many Shaktis. If you see that I have listed a few Shaktis, Samvit Shakti, Sandhini Shakti, Hladini Shakti, Anugraha, Yoga, and then I have put one box for all the other Shaktis. There are so many Shaktis the Lord has. And Shaktiman, he himself. Together, they are called Bhagavan. Bhagavan doesn't mean just the Shaktiman. Together, Bhagavan with his Shaktis together called the Shaktiman together with its Shakti called Bhagavan. Jiva, we are also a Shakti of the Lord, but we are somewhat outside Bhagavan. You see that? We are outside the Bhagavan. Bhagavan circle is here and Jiva Shakti is here. But we are under the control of Bhagavan. Maya, which is even further away from the Lord. It is also outside the Lord, but it is also controlled by Bhagavan. So these two are controlled by Bhagavan, and whereas this internal Shakti, which we call, which is internal to Bhagavan, those are all part of himself. When we are looking at the form of Krishna, the form of Krishna is Shakti and Shaktiman combined together. It is not just Krishna is standing alone. Krishna's Shakti together manifests that form. That Shakti sometimes takes a separate role as well. For example, we see Radharani. Radharani is nothing but the manifestation of this Hladini Shakti. This Shakti comes and takes one form separately. That is Radharani. Like that. So we have different Shaktis taking different forms. Now, the Jiva has minute free will. Small amount of free will is there because we cannot decide what will happen in our life. Life is throwing different situations upon us. And all we are doing is facing that situation and acting upon. That's all we are doing. We have only that much limitation. We don't have, I cannot decide I want to be born as Mark Zuckerberg. No, it's not in my hand. We have very limited free will. So from here, from Bhakti point of view, there is the free will where it should be used. I can take shelter of Maya Shakti or I can take shelter of Bhagavan. What is the difference? If I take shelter of Maya Shakti, I'm going to experience miseries, sufferings, sorrows again and again. But if I take shelter of Bhagavan, I'm going to experience bliss, happiness, bliss to the amount that I cannot even hold, that much bliss, which we have never experienced in our life before coming into actual bhakti. Now, why some jivas take shelter of Maya? Because they want to be acting as the Lord. That means they want to be the center. We can observe ourselves when we go to office, we want to be the center of attraction. When we go to a function, we want to be the center of that function. There was a movie I actually saw years back. There was a villain in that movie, and then he was saying that if I attend a marriage, I want to be the bridegroom. I want to be the bridegroom. And if I attend a funeral, I want to be the dead body. Why? Because he wants to be the center of attraction everywhere he wants to go. And this is just reflecting our deep desires within our heart. Wherever we go, we want to be the center. And how many jivas are like that? Infinite amount of jivas are there like that. Everybody is thinking, I want to be the center. How is it possible? That's not even possible. So therefore, the Lord has given the Maya Shakti and the Jiva takes shelter of the Maya Shakti. Sometimes some Jiva becomes the center for some time. And then it comes down. Then another Jiva rises up, becomes the center, comes down. Another Jiva rises up, becomes the center, comes down. So in this way, all the Jivas are going in this roller coaster. Sometimes you go up, become the center, and then you come down. Become the center and then come down. Such a miserable experience. If a poor person does not have any money, he may not suffer much. But once he gets a lot of money, $1 billion, and suddenly he loses it next moment, he will experience so much suffering. Huh? We are also like that. When we are not center, we don't find so much suffering. But when we become center for some time and then suddenly we are taken out of that situation, then we experience a lot of misery. So in this way, this Maya Shakti is basically giving us misery in the name of the happiness that we are searching. So how can we take shelter of Bhagavan? So we do the process called bhakti. This bhakti, what is this bhakti? Bhakti is a process that attracts two Shaktis of the Lord. Lord has Samvit Shakti and Hladini Shakti. Hladini means bliss. The Lord feels bliss through this Shakti. Sorry. The Lord feels bliss through this Shakti. Samvit Shakti means he can see spiritual objects. These two Shaktis we are trying to attract from the Lord through a process. And that process is bhakti in the form of chanting. I am sitting and daily chanting my rounds, or I am reading the shastras, or I am hearing Bhagavatam class, or I am doing deity worship. All these processes are trying to attract these two Shaktis. Once these two Shaktis, Hladini Shakti and Samvit Shakti, is attracted, and then it comes into the Jiva, it descends into the Jiva, part of it if it becomes, then we will be able to see Krishna face to face, directly. Now we are not able to see. Why? The Shamvit Shakti, which can show Krishna, it's not there part of us. But once that Shakti descends, then we will be able to see Krishna. Then you have Hladini Shakti. This is what is giving Bhagavan bliss. And that Shakti descends into the Jiva. We'll experience greater amount of joy and bliss. These two Shaktis we are trying to attract by the process of Bhakti. When we perfect it, then these two Shaktis enter into Jiva. But through the process, as we are perfecting, these Shaktis are slowly descending. Slowly coming closer to us. The more they come closer to us, the more bliss we feel. Sometimes in bhakti, in the path of bhakti, when we take up the chanting bag and chant, we don't find any bliss. But once you get a little bit grace of this Shakti, it has just moved a little bit closer to you, whole thing will change. I would like to chant my rounds. I would like to read the Shastras. I would like to hear about Krishna. Huh? From that time onwards, then you'll be like, for a person who is addicted to drinking, he cannot give up drinking. Like that, it will become more and more addictive. Drinking has a limit of how much it can addict you, but this is going to addict you more and more. So we should become more and more addicted. For that, we are performing this bhakti process. More and more these two Shaktis are moving closer to us, the more and more we'll become addicted. Finally, when it manifests, then we will be in the spiritual world. Okay. So therefore, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Susukam kartum avyayam. This bhakti process is susukam. Sukam means happiness. Susukam means great joy, great happiness. Why? When these two Shaktis started coming toward us, then we will feel more and more joy. After that onwards, it's fully joyful until you perfect. That initial phase where we are not getting the taste, that's where we need to put our endeavor more, because we don't have taste, we will not pick up the chanting bag, we will not read the shastras, we will not hear the pastimes of Krishna. That time we have to put little bit endeavor. This is very nicely explained in Nectar of Devotion. In the 7th verse, Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapi Avidya Pitto Upatapta Rasanasya na Rochikanu Kint Adarat Anudinam Khalu Saiva Jushta Swadvi Kramat Bhavati Tadgata Mula Hantri. Reading the translation. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So, because the tongue is affected by jaundice, the jaundice called ignorance, we are faced away from the Lord. If you look at the diagram here, this Jiva Shakti has turned toward the Maya Shakti. Huh? It is not looking at Bhagavan because it is looking at this Maya Shakti, and that itself is like a jaundice disease. Therefore, anything in the bhakti process will feel like no, it does not have any taste. Na rochika no, it does not have any taste. Huh? But what is the medicine that is prescribed for jaundice in Ayurveda? You have to take sugar every day. But when you take sugar when you have jaundice, you'll feel a lot of bitterness. The sugar is going to taste very, 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 very bitter. But the medicine is that you continue to take that sugar. As you continue to take, then it becomes more and more sweet as the jaundice recedes. Until then, it is going to be little bit not so tasteful. So this bhakti process soon it will manifest when performed correctly. And to perform this bhakti correctly, then we need to have knowledge. The last Shakti, this Shandini Shakti, the three Shaktis, you should try to remember this name. This last Shakti, Shandini Shakti, is going to give a form during the perfection stage. It can be a Gopa form, it can be a Gopi form, it can be a servant of Krishna. There are different forms. Whatever one is perfected in that form is going to be granted by this Shandini Shakti. Then Jiva takes shelter of that form and then it serves Krishna. So you see this whole side is spiritual world. This whole side is material world. Okay. So now this is what is bhakti. Bhakti is a process that attracts these two shaktis of the Lord into the to descend into the jiva. So that is the first word in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, bhakti. Okay. Now we are going to look at the second word, rasa. So the same diagram as you see here, Bhagavan. Then the next one is the Jiva Shakti. So this is a stage where the Hladini Shakti and Samvit Shakti has descended into the Jiva. And it also has a form. Here I put a Gopi form. It can be a Gopa form. It can be any form, spiritual form. Basically, it is a spiritual form. Now the Jiva is ready to serve the Lord. So what exchanges, the loving exchanges that happen between Bhagavan and Jiva is what is rasa or prema. This what exchange happens? The Jiva has the Hladini Shakti of the Lord. He gives this some of the Shakti to the Lord back, and the Lord gives his own Hladini Shakti to the Jiva. If you think of in the normal world, it's like a currency. A father has $100 and then he gives his son $100. Son takes $2 out of the $100 and then he purchases a nice gift and then he gives back to father. Now the father will feel very much happy. Though the father had so much wealth in his bank account and in the stock market, but when he gave that $100, he felt happy. And when the son gave back $2 out of that $100, he felt even much more happy. So similarly, when the Lord gives this Hladini Shakti, the bliss Shakti to the Jiva, it has descended. And when the Jiva gives it back, then that exchange becomes very, very sweet for both the candidates, for the Jiva, for the Bhagavan. How does this happen? What does that mean exchange? This looks very theoretical. How does actually happen? Through activities. For example, in the spiritual world, the Gopas are there. They are playing with Krishna. The play, they have so many plays as we will be studying. They do lot of games with Krishna. That is an activity. Or they make garlands, flower garlands for Krishna and offer it to him. That's an activity. They go and embrace Krishna and kiss Krishna. That's an activity. They carry Krishna, or they jump onto the back of Krishna and then play. Or if you take the gopis, they make beautiful garlands and then offer to Krishna. Or they sing songs for Krishna, or they dance with Krishna. These are the different activities. That is one thing. Then you have the settings. Vrindavan is one setting. The forest of Vrindavan with full moon in the background. And under that full moon, Krishna is dancing with the gopis. That's a setting. Or in the morning time in Vrindavan, in the forest, Krishna is playing with the gopas. Or inside the home, Krishna is dealing with Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj. So this is the setting. There is the activity. Activities are performed in a setting. Then you have relationship with Krishna. You can be a lover of Krishna. You can be a servant of Krishna. You can be a father, mother, or motherly position. Or you can have a friend. You can be a friend to Krishna. So in this way, you can have different relationship with Krishna. And sometimes you feel ecstatic expressions, like suddenly a devotee, when he looks at Krishna, he feels so much ecstatic, he faints. We see this in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he dances in front of the Rath Yatra. Many times when he looks at Lord Jagannath, he feels ecstatic and then he falls down. These are ecstatic expressions. And the emotions that are going through in the mind. Happiness, when Krishna appears in front of me, feels so joyful and suddenly he disappears. I feel so sad. Huh? And then I feel humble in front of Krishna. Humility is coming out. So in this way, there are so many emotions that can come. When all of these things combine together, what happens? Bliss arises in both Jiva and Bhagavan. And that bliss is Rasa. So it is the bliss that is experienced in the relationship with Krishna through activities, a nice setting for the activity. There is a continuous relationship established with Krishna, and a lot of emotions are going through, and the ecstatic expressions. But we should remember one thing, that these are all spiritual. These are all done with the spiritual body. These are not with the material body. What right now we have is material body. So at this stage, we may not be able to experience this rasa. But what we can do knowing about this, we can develop attraction for this rasa. When we develop attraction for this rasa, when we develop attraction for Bhagavan, our bhakti will progress very faster. And this book is going to explain this Bhakti Rasa. So previous we saw Bhakti, this is Rasa, Bhakti Rasa. This is all combined together, that bliss arises, that bliss is Rasa, Bhakti Rasa. Amrita Sindhu. Amrita means nectar. We know the Devas, they like to have this nectar or Amrita because it expands your life like anything. So this Bhakti Rasa is like that nectar. And Sindhu means ocean. This work is an ocean of Bhakti Rasa, which is like a nectar. Therefore, Prabhupada has translated this work as Nectar of Devotion. Or literally it would be nectarian ocean of devotion or bhakti. So today we will stop at next slide. So just next two slides we have to look at it just for the logistics purpose. We are going to follow this work, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. You can buy it, is available on Amazon. It has been translated in English by Rupa Goswami, Bhanu Maharaj. However, I'm going to take Sanskrit verses directly and I'm going to speak from that. So you can follow along. But if you want to have an English textbook that you want to follow along, you can buy this book. Its ebooks are available in Amazon. And it has commentaries also with Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti. So if you go to that Guru Parampara, after Rupa Goswami, immediately comes Jiva Goswami. So Rupa Goswami has written this work. Jiva Goswami has commented upon this. And later, few hundred years back after, Vishwanath Chakravarti has also written a commentary for us to easily understand this work. Some logistics. How are we going to follow this course? This course format, Gopala Champu we will do for 10 minutes, first 10 minutes. Then Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu will be done for 20 to 25 minutes. Why this combination? This Gopala Champu is actual pastimes of Krishna. So as I said in the beginning, we need to develop attraction for this pastimes of Krishna. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a technical manual to understand Bhakti in deeper and understand Bhakti Rasa in deeper. But this is more or less like you can say application. So we will as we are going forward through this course, we will first 10 minutes we'll Gopala Champu. I'll just tell the stories from Gopala Champu. Very slowly I will go because there are a lot of details in it, and details are required for us to understand. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we will study it. Timings every Thursday, as we said, 5:30 to 6:05. We'll try to wrap it up by that time. Then we have Q&A session followed by that. Then communication, any communication you can use WhatsApp, you can use for discussion and question and answers. Feel free to answer if somebody poses a question. Feel free to answer. I will also try to answer, but it should be related to course and not general message forwarding. Will not have it so that we don't disturb other members in the group. Materials, I'll once the video I'm recording this, I will post in the group, but please try to join the class so that you will follow regularly. Second, you will have attention properly. And third, you can also clarify questions and you can ask some questions and then you can get your answers. My request from all of you participants, please attend regularly. And if possible, please keep your camera on so that we can have interactive session rather than I'm talking to the computer all the time. And finally, if you want to include any of your friends, also feel free to add them to the group if they are interested to follow along with the course. So I'm going to stop here. If you have any questions, we can take it. And feel free to drop during the question and answer session. You don't need to necessarily stay together. You can also reflect. Yes, Satya Sankalpa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna Prabhu.
so much for that wonderful introduction. Prabhu, I had a question. So, can you elaborate like when like a jiva attains perfection and is in the spiritual world, what is their relationship with the shaktis of the Lord at that point? So, like Ladini Shakti is supposed to give pleasure to Krishna, but it will also give pleasure to the jiva who is perfected in the spiritual world. So, like, who is that Shakti then serving?
So the Shakti, a part of that Shakti is embedded into the Jiva itself when we go to the spiritual world. So within we have, just like father has given $100 to child, now the child possesses that $100 within him. So the father will have billions of dollars. That's the whole amount of Shakti. But the child has some part of it, $100, $200 like that. So within that, the transaction is happening between Bhagavan and Jiva.
Okay, okay. And we also know that the Vrajvasis, they are, although they know, but
Hmm.
they still choose to ignore the idea of Krishna being God.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in that aspect, like, how do we reconcile this with like Samvit Shakti?
Yes. So Samvit Shakti, if you go back to the presentation here, this Samvit Shakti, it reveals Bhagavan to us. Now we are not able to see Krishna in front of us, correct? Krishna is everywhere. We open our eyes, we should be able to see, but we cannot see. Why? The Samvit Shakti is not present. When the Samvit Shakti is present within us, we can see directly Krishna face to face. So it is only revealing Krishna. But then, when the Jiva is liberated, it knows everything. There is Sarvagyatva in the end of Brahma Sutras, it is mentioned. The Sarvagyatva is attained by Jiva, limited Sarvagyatva, you can say.
Mm.
But Yoga Maya, you see this one Shakti called Yoga, this is Yoga Maya Shakti. In Vrindavan, the Yoga Maya covers a Jiva some identity of Bhagavan.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the Jiva knows Krishna is Bhagavan. So it covers the knowledge of the Jiva so that he can have natural relationship with Krishna. If I am always aware that Krishna is God, then all the time I will just open a standard prayer, Brahma Samhita prayer, and then I'll start reciting in front of the Lord. I'll just fall down at his feet. That servant relationship will start, coming up. But if you want to be a friend, you want to jump on top of Krishna, how is that going to be possible? If you are aware that he is Bhagavan. So therefore, this Yoga Maya covers that awareness. So the Vrajavasis, they do not know that Krishna is Bhagavan. They all know Krishna is this person who is very wonderful person. I just love him. That's all their whole thing is. Who Krishna is, sometimes they are being reminded by people from Dwarka. Uddhava comes and says Krishna is actually Bhagavan. Nanda Maharaj, you are saying, but we are only seeing him as a child. We are not able to see him as Bhagavan because that thing is covered. Even though they are reminded periodically, like Krishna when he lifts Govardhan, for example. Everybody thinks, how is he holding up? Probably Narayana must have blessed Krishna. Therefore, he is holding up this whole Govardhan. And then, therefore, they support the whole Govardhan with their sticks to hold it properly so that, Krishna doesn't feel so much pain because their awareness of Bhagavan is covered there.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Anand Balde Prabhu, Dhanwas Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanwas Pranam. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanwas Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So Prabhu, you mentioned that when Jiva approaches the Bhagavan with Samvit and Haladini Shakti, then he gets the afterwards he gets the bliss. No, so can I understand Samvit as a knowledge? Okay.
Yes, this is actually revealing Krishna. No, seeing Krishna is a knowledge, sort of a knowledge. So this samvit is basically giving that knowledge of Krishna, revealing
knowledge
it.
of Krishna, and then in return we get a bliss from Krishna, which is Haladini.
Hladini, so whatever he has, Hladini Shakti he gives, and we also have little bit because Krishna has given us through the process of bhakti. From that we share with him. So we share bliss with each other. Then the
Each
whole
other.
transaction.
Right. And then ultimately, when we become fully, we are completely liberated, then we get the spiritual body, which is eternity, which is the third Shakti.
The Sandhini Shakti. Sandhini Shakti is giving a
Shakti.
form basically. So spiritual form.
Spiritual form. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nicely you summarized.
Thank you, Mataji. Jagannath Priya Mataji. Okay. So if there are no further questions, we will Sakala Subhaga Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Prabhu. It was a wonderful session.
Yes, thank you.
Detailed introduction. It's very informative. So, like, I mean, I have a question, Prabhu. So, like, when a Jiva trying to understand and get more about this, both the Shaktis, so it is only coming by the mercy. It is bestowed to Jiva by the mercy of the Lord or by mercy of the Guru or Jiva will try, but finally, like how it is, definitely by Lord's mercy only it will be given to the Jiva, right?
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, good question. So, therefore, Jiva Goswami defines a verse in the 4th chapter of first section of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Adav Shraddha Tada Sadhu Sangha Atha Bhajana Kriya. And then finally he says, Ayam Premnaha Pradurbhava Bhavet Kramaha. So this prema, which is this combination of this Samvit and Hladini Shakti, gradually manifests through the stages of bhakti. We have Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Nishtha, like that. So in the beginning, we get some faith. And that faith we get from by serving some devotees. Then we take association of devotees. And then within that association of the devotees, we perform. So at this time, you actually basically take shelter of a guru. The guru basically gives you teachings for the scriptures, basically. So that is his mercy. He tells you, chant Hare Krishna and read Bhagavatam. This is the mercy, seed of mercy. The process of bhakti itself is given as the seed of mercy. Then we practice that. This Shakti starts slowly descending until we go to a stage called Asakti. I'm using a lot of terminologies. We will study these terminologies deeper as we go in the course. But when we reach the Asakti stage, it's almost close to appearing into the Jiva, the Shakti. But then from there, we wait for the mercy of the Lord. And the Lord grants His mercy at that point. Then suddenly that full Shakti starts descending into the Jiva. Then it's able to see the Lord. So there is a mercy part involved in it, and there is an endeavor part is also involved in it. It's a combination of both. Therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, it is like somebody is giving a rope for a person fell into the well. The person has to hold the rope. That is his endeavor. And then he will be lifted out. That is, the bhakti process itself is elevating us, or the bhakti process itself is attracting these two Shaktis to descend into the Jiva. And then once we go there into the Asakti stage, we wait for the mercy of the Lord. Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Krishna will definitely give the mercy. Why he won't give the mercy? So he gives the mercy, then we go into the Bhava, Prema, like that.
Right, Prabhu. And one follow-up question, Prabhu. So now, as we are, as you nicely mentioned, this endeavor part and mercy part, and we are also being negatively pulled by Maya Shakti in that direction. So that means we have to overcome that Shakti and enter into this one. So for that, and we also have 64 limbs of Bhakti. So if for the Jiva, he can choose any. Basically, if a Jiva is specifically inclined towards any limb of Bhakti, can he use that limb to move towards in the direction naturally? All I'm trying to understand is there any specific things out of the 64 is must and should we do, or naturally, if one is natural to one of the limb, then he can use that naturally to inch towards into this Shakti.
Yeah. Yeah, good question. There are two parts to this question. And again, if it's a Q&A session, if you can feel free to drop off or you can hear, it's up to you. But I'll just try to answer as many questions as possible. So the first part of the question is, can we just do bhakti to stay away from Maya? Otherwise, because naturally we are pulled into Maya. Yes, our whole process is about we depend on the bhakti process rather than cultivating detachment. In Dhyana Marga, you have to cultivate detachment. I have to become detached from material world first. Then I will start the Jnana process. But here in Bhakti process, I depend on Bhakti more. I try to cultivate everyday attraction toward Krishna. How today I can become attracted to Krishna? That should be in the sadhaka's mind. And when we are doing the process, we do with happiness. We don't take the chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Somehow I will focus my mind. No. The whole thing is, it is my Bhagavan's name, my Krishna's name. I'm chanting. And when I'm chanting, is directly present with me. And I'm taking his association. It's just like a boyfriend is toward a girlfriend or a girlfriend toward a boyfriend. When the first love happens, so much attraction is there. And then he hears the name of the girl or name of the boy, or you get a message, a WhatsApp message or whatever. Immediately that thing comes. That kind of attraction, just take up the thing and then try to do. Then slowly, things will start going into the favorable direction. Detachment will automatically happen. Slowly it will happen, but it will automatically happen. That's in part one. Part two is, can I do any limb of bhakti? Yes, whatever limb you are attracted to, which Sanatana Goswami says in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that is the best for the sadhaka. If I'm attracted to, let's say, reading, that is best for me. If somebody is attracted to chanting, that is best for him. Somebody is attracted to book distribution, that is best for him. Whatever the limb of bhakti is attracted to, that is naturally attracted to, that becomes the best service for him to do toward Bhagavan. Now, we have this Yuga Dharma also, which is holy name. The Yuga Dharma has this potency to make the bhakti faster, achieve the results faster. So any limb of bhakti we do, along with that, we do this chanting as well. Huh? So therefore, Prabhupada has said it, slowly, you increase your rounds and then come to like at least 16 rounds. But whatever is one is comfortable with, one should chant with attraction and love. That is the main thing. What is the use of chanting with a dreadful mind 24 hours? That's not so useful. But even one round chanting properly, that's even more useful. Of course, the count matters, but the quality also matters. So, along with the bhakti limb that I'm attracted to, one should also do chanting. Along with that, one should also have hearing, because hearing the right knowledge or studying the shastras make us set our mindset and be absorbed in Krishna correctly. When we do that, then bhakti process becomes faster. When that is missing, then it takes long time. It may take so many births. Huh? So we want to speed up. So whatever is acts available for us to speed up, chanting, hearing, then the limb of bhakti that is very attractive to us, then we perform that. Then it will become a very good combination. I hope that answers your question, bro.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, devotees, for joining. I'm very grateful for all of you to join here, and we'll continue our session next week. Hare Krishna. Have a good Christmas and a good New Year. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनन्तकोटि वैष्णवन् की जय. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.